This has Panthers fans split. With the Hall of Fame game approaching this Thursday, head coach Dave Canales announces a move that has Panthers fans on both sides of the coin. What's going on, guys? It is Tanner Blue with Carolina Panthers Digest. Hope you're doing well. And by goodness, we have made it. The Panthers are back. Football is back. The NFL is back. Carolina Panthers, Arizona Cardinals playing in the first preseason game of the year, the Hall of Fame game. Guys, I know the stats don't matter. I know the wins and losses don't matter. I know everything statistically doesn't matter, but Panthers are back on the football field, and it's glorious to see. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I know everyone's looking forward to it. Granted, if you watch the preseason, if you watch, pretty much every down like I do, even though you can't help yourself, it doesn't matter. It's just fun to see football back, and so very excited to talk about that. But there's a lot going into a decision that was made by head coach Dave Canales today, and we're going to talk about it. But guys, before we begin, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe. Guys, you guys are knocking it out of the park. We're so close to 250 subscribers. I'm getting a lot more conversations in the comments, which is awesome. I love interacting with you guys, talking about your thoughts on what we're talking about that day. So really appreciate all the feedback and all the hard work that you guys are doing and watching the videos and staying up to date. I really appreciate it. So make sure you stay tuned because things are getting ready to kick off in a major way. Guys, Bryce Young, the starters, they are not going to be playing this Thursday against the Arizona Cardinals. And I know we pretty much knew that, but let's see for ourselves. This on Twitter by Joseph Person or X, whatever you prefer to call it. Dave Canales, Kenny Pickett will start at quarterback versus Cardinals. No clear-cut starters will play, including Monroe Freeling. So, as we know, Bryce Young not going to play. The starters not going to play. What is everyone's thoughts on this? Well, historically, Dave Canales, this is what he's done. He has typically not played his starters in the preseason at all, or really not much. In his previous two seasons, you can go watch the games and look at the statistics, maybe the snap counts, but it's very low. The guys, they come in for a few drives here and there, and then the starters are out. And this is to the chagrin of many Panthers fans, but in a way, it's also very split down the middle, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about today is, is this the right move? Is this the wrong move? What are your thoughts? What are my thoughts? But Dave Canales pretty much saying that the starters are not going to play. Maybe a few guys that are battling for some positions that maybe first or second string kind of guys on that area who are going to fight it over. But for the most part, you are going to see the backups in this football game, which is obviously important for those guys. They need to get reps. They're fighting for some of those in roster spots there to make that 53-man roster. So before we kind of get into the reaction and what we think, let's read a little bit more of an article that was posted here on Panthers.com and see what we're thinking here. So pull this article up. Let's see. Obviously, Panthers head coach said Monday that quarterback Kenny Pickett will start in the Hall of Fame game. Pickett's expected to play a few series with the rest of the work being handled by undrafted rookie Haynes King. Excited to see what he can do. Starters generally do not play in the extra preseason game. The Panthers are playing an extra preseason game this year because of the Hall of Fame game, so it's no surprise that Bryce Young won't play in Canton, Ohio. Okay, makes sense there. Well, let's continue. We got one more piece of the article that I think is important as we bring it up here. Canales clarified that no starters were expected, though there were some competitive positions on the team which would see some regulars appear. He goes on to a quote there, basically saying some of the guys were expecting to be out there right off the bat. I think we won't play those guys in this game. Canales has generally leaned into work in joint practices instead of a ton of preseason game reps for most of the starters, so they can work on specific things in controlled environments. But having a fourth preseason game gives him more opportunities to see people. So as you see it there in the fine print, the starter's not going to play in this football game. And as you can see here, it pretty much says that Canales really starts to lean toward those joint practices a little bit more and considering those more maybe valuable reps than the preseason game. So what are our thoughts on this? Well, before we get into your guys' thoughts, I want to give you my thoughts. I see both, like I said in the intro, I see both sides of the coin here. On one side, yes, the Panthers have been hit hard with some injuries so far this preseason, so I get the route of saying let's not play the starters. We don't want anyone to get hurt. We want to make sure we're clean going in, as clean as can be going into the regular season, and be healthy. I get that side, but also understand the other side. If you've been a fan of this team for the last few seasons, and really historically, for the most part, but we're going to focus specifically on the Dave Canales era, the Panthers have always seemed to start off slow on offense, at least when it comes to the regular season. It just seems like it is always taking the Panthers 2 to 3 games, 4 games maybe, to really start to get the offensive rhythm moving. It's not unheard of to see the Panthers kind of come out on offense and look a bit lackadaisical, maybe a bit off. A few errant routes, got the effort maybe not being there, a few play calls, just things seem a bit off. So I can totally understand why fans are feeling the way that they do. Maybe about saying, hey, we should play some of these games. These guys should get reps. I'm not saying they should play the whole game, maybe not even a whole quarter. Can we get 2 drives out of these guys so they can get in a rhythm? Well, in my opinion, I am going to have to agree with the folks who are saying, why are you not playing? I get it. We've been hit hard by injuries. I understand that, and we want to have people that are healthy. But at the same time, guys, this is football. People do get hurt, and I understand. I can see it now. If a starter played, you'd be coming at me saying, oh, I told you we shouldn't have played this guy. Now he's out for weeks of the season, and you played him in the preseason. Well, that's true, and I can understand that, but who's to say that might not have happened week 1 if he got in the game? In my opinion, I think a lot of fans are frustrated with the slow starts that the Panthers have had on offense, because I can tell you right now that with the way the NFC South is moving, the way that the rest of the league and the team has improved, you cannot afford to start slow on offense again. This would be a bad look, in my opinion, for Dave Canales. As we've seen the previous 2 seasons, he started off slow. If you start off slow again, man, you're gonna have some really tough questions to answer if you end up coming out looking slow and sluggish on offense again, or even as a team in general. It doesn't have to be just on offense. So I think the starters should play. I understand, maybe I'm jumping the gun just a bit. It's just the first preseason game. Typically the starters don't play a lot, maybe very minimal. I'm not going to press the panic button yet, but if we get into next week and the week after and the starters are seeing very minimal time, I do think that is going to be a bit frustrating for a lot of the fans that want to see this team come out of the gate swinging, and we want to have some juice. You got a home opener against the Chicago Bears, a very good offense. You got to be able to come out and score points immediately. So I wanted to get some of your reaction here. What I'm going to show you is an image below the Joe Person tweet that I showed earlier, and get some of the reactions. And as you can tell, it is a bit split down the middle. Guys here at the top, every year Dave thinks it's smart to not give starters reps. So when they start 1-3 again, we're probably going to finally realize preseason reps actually matter. So he is definitely on the side of, hey, get these guys in and play reps. Another person, Monroe needs preseason snaps eventually, though. He needs that experience. Agreed, he does need experience, and I think he will get it. Someone says, good. Do not risk Monroe in the Hall of Fame game. So understand that. You don't want to risk injuries. Someone asking, Joe, what's your take on Canales doing this? His starters seem to seldom play in the preseason and then come out flat in the regular season opener. Drives me crazy. Isn't a little bit of playing time worth the risk of injury? If I get there is one more preseason game this year, but still, question mark. I do agree with this take here. Is in my opinion, I think this is the kind of the nice middle ground here. And then someone here at the bottom, I get it, Hall of Fame game, yada yada. If the starters continue to not play in the preseason, I'd expect another slow start. I would not bet on Ben Johnson starting slow. I would agree with that right there. Ben Johnson probably not going to start slow. He's already thinking of all kinds of things, planning for this game a month or so away. So Guys, let me know your opinion in the comments below. Do you think that the Panthers should play starters more this preseason? Obviously, we're not going to get in the Hall of Fame game. It's just one game. Or should they rest the guys and, try to be as healthy as possible come the first game of the season? As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, keep pounding. We'll see you tomorrow.